Coming up next on Valley News Live at 10, meet a man who sets the bar pretty high as he gives back after people help him out.
Did Grand Forks voters go for spending money on a new school on the north side of the city?
And a neighbor comes to the rescue to save the home next door. Valley News Live at 10 is next.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Tonight, a Fargo man is giving back in a big way. Norman is his name. He was once homeless, and in his time of need, the New Life Center helped him get back on his feet.
Now he's returning the favor. Valley News Team's Nisha Taylor has more on how Norman is giving back.
Norman Hayes moved to Fargo recently with the intent of helping a friend and starting a new life. But the unthinkable happened the moment he arrived.
I got a hotel room at one of the hotels over here on the south side. The room ended up getting broke into. I got my tablet taken, my phones taken, clothes taken.
And in his time of need, the New Life Center took Norman in, helping him get back on his feet.
These people have been so helpful, you know, and enlightening. It made me do one or two things. It made me want to go back to college, so I'm going to go back for my bachelor's. And then on top of that, it made me want to stay here in Fargo.
And to return the favor, Norman gave back by treating everyone at the center with dinner, a pig roast with all the fixings. Leadership at the New Life Center say it's fulfilling knowing their efforts are going a long way and that those who have been through the program are willing to give back.
When you develop that sense of gratitude, it really changes your life. I think being here at New Life Center has really fostered that sense of hope and that I can have dreams and they can be fulfilled.
And now that Norman is on the right path, he hopes those in the shelter seeing him give back will give them a sense of purpose.
I've been there, I've done that. At the end of the day, don't give up. You know what I mean? There's always a silver lining.
In Fargo, Nisha Taylor, Valley News Live.
Norman says he plans to start a barbecue business in the near future. He's also working with his employer to help others in the shelter get jobs.
Today, voters in Grand Forks are deciding whether to build a new mega school on the north end of the city. Those in favor say it's necessary for the school district for a variety of reasons. Those opposed voice concern about higher taxes and not wanting their neighborhood schools to close as part of the consolidation. Many viewers tell us that there was a large turnout at the polls, with some people on Facebook reporting lines out the door. Now, we'll update you with the results as soon as they're counted. A child's in the hospital tonight after being hit by a vehicle this afternoon. The Trail County Sheriff's deputies and Hillsborough ambulance responding to a rural Blanchard address for the report of a 4-year-old child possibly run over by a vehicle on private property. He was taken to Fargo Hospital with unknown injuries. The vehicle involved was pulling a trailer. It appears the child was actually hit by the child, and it was unknown if the trailer ran over the child.
Quick thinking by neighbors stopped a fire from destroying a home in South Fargo. Fire crews arrived at 420 11th Avenue South just before 6 this evening. They found a pile of debris burning behind the house and a neighbor using a garden hose to try and put out the flames. While the fire did damage parts of the exterior, authorities say the neighbor's actions kept it from getting any bigger, and firefighters took care of the rest. Yeah, sorry, what's out here, I guess?
The material that was seemed to be burning was construction debris that had been removed from the house. They're doing some remodeling projects currently, and this was the material that had been discarded from the home.
Nobody's living at the home at this time. However, contractors are working there. Investigators don't know yet what started the fire, but they don't consider it suspicious.
Twist Restaurant in downtown Fargo has closed, but the owners say they look forward to seeing patrons again soon. The team is citing challenges with both labor and supply chain for the closure, on top of the continually rising costs of ingredients and supplies. They say they're reconsidering their approach and look forward to introducing a new concept to downtown Fargo soon.
Safety concerns and questions over effectiveness have prompted a review of Fargo's wildlife management program. It was started in 2006. 45 Fargo residents were selected to bow hunt female deer as a way to control the population. During a public hearing tonight, nearly all who spoke support keeping the program. Fargo police say there have been no serious incidents reported surrounding the management program, but they don't want to wait until something bad does happen to take action. Today's input will be presented to the City Commission on Monday.
Minnesota State Fair will be back in its full glory in just a couple of months.
Masks and distancing will not be required, but there will be a new security setup which will affect everyone who goes. Susan Elizabeth Littlefield looks at the safety changes.
It's been mostly quiet around here for the past couple of years, but soon that will change.
I'll have a beer at the beer garden. I'll have, go down the Midway, and the kids like the rides.
Loyal attendee Katie Fridgen couldn't be more excited.
I just feel like I've been cooped up for so long, I just need to break out.
She's not the only one who's ready to roll.
All the people coming back together, like being close, like no more 6 feet, no more masks and all that, and looking forward to seeing everybody enjoy each other.
But what won't be familiar this year is the process you'll have to go through to get into the fair. Because of a shooting that happened during the 2019 fair, organizers say all ticket holders who come through the doors will have to go through a metal detector.
Oh, I think that's good. You don't need no violence. Like, that's why everybody should be enjoying themselves. It shouldn't be no guns or knives or nothing like that.
Another security change, Ramsey County Sheriff's Office has been asked to take over for the disbanded Fair Police.
Where's the responsibility?
The Ramsey County Board spent Tuesday afternoon asking the sheriff and fair organizer about costs and overtime pressure for current deputies.
I really want to focus in on the impact on our employees.
Sheriff Bob Fletcher says the work will be voluntary and shared with other local officers and troopers. The board will soon vote on a plan as eager Minnesotans hope for safety and prepare for fun.
Because it's the great Minnesota get-together,
The sheriff says the plan is for all officers at the fair to wear body cameras.
Minnesota lawmakers held another meeting on what to do about a special session this fall. This morning, a select committee made the rules that will allow them to get their extra work done more quickly. But the time saved may not be enough to avoid a special session. Legislative leaders confirm that they're having talks with the governor to call them back in a few months.
We're going to keep it down to a minimum. We're not going to let anything come in. We're going to sit down and visit about what's important and bring it forward.
Lawmakers said there's a possibility the law causing this bottleneck could be changed, but they can only change it when everyone is in Bismarck. This means they would need to have a special session in order to avoid a special session.
The Justice Department is cracking down on illegal gun trafficking. The department has announced it's creating strike forces focused on trafficking in 5 areas of the country: New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, the San Francisco Bay Area, and Washington, D.C. The teams will track where the weapons come from and where they're used in violent crimes. The move comes as the U.S. is seeing even more gun violence. Just this weekend, 10 mass shootings happened across the nation. At least 7 people were killed and more than 40 people were injured.
Senate Democrats suffered a loss today when Republican opposition sank their signature voting and election bill during a key test vote. A procedural vote to open debate was defeated by a 50-50 vote, falling short of the 60 votes needed. Democratic senators have pushed the legislation as a way to counter efforts by states to restrict voting access in the wake of the 2020 election. Republicans called it a partisan power grab and a federal overreach. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is expected to make a decision this week on creating a new select committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the Capitol. A spokesperson says her preference is still a bipartisan commission. Republican senators have already voted against a plan for an independent commission to investigate the insurrection.
The Biden administration is expanding the pool of migrants eligible to be processed into the United States. Starting tomorrow, migrants who had their cases terminated or were removed for not being present at their immigration hearings will get a second chance at life in the U.S. In February, the administration began the gradual entry of migrants who fell under the so-called Remain in Mexico policy. The Biden administration formally ended that policy earlier this month. Individuals must test negative for COVID-19 before entering the U.S.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is recommending a change in the military justice system to the president. Austin says the prosecution of sexual assaults in the military should not be in the hands of the commanders. In the spring, a Pentagon review panel suggested to Austin that independent authorities should decide the prosecution of service members in sexual assault cases. No word yet on when the president will look into the matter.
What was supposed to be an online hiring ad featuring Hornbacher's bagger, Miles Frost, ended with nearly 600 Facebook comments and dozens of shares, all of them with rave reviews about Miles' friendly personality and famous fist bumps.
I feel like I'm kind of making a difference in somebody's day, and that really makes me feel good.
He is like that shining star when you walk in. You know, no matter what kind of day you're having, if it's the worst day ever, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, you're in the worst mood, you run into Miles and he will just turn that around for you.
Pam says Miles gets between 7 and 10 positive customer survey mentions every week and says it's not uncommon to see a long line in whichever lane Miles is working that day. You can watch more of Miles' story on our VNL News app. Just click on this story.
Still ahead tonight on Valley News Live at 10. Feeling like partying? We'll tell you why Disney World is the place to be later this year.
But first, Hutch joins us with details on how high the mercury will climb tomorrow.